That night, when Sophia leaned over the kitchen counter, her eyes held a strange light, part challenge, part mockery. I had just asked, almost cautiously, if she was truly happy with me with us. She laughed, a cold, unsettling sound that didn't belong to the woman I thought I knew. Then came the words, "I need to find out if size really matters. Something you'll never understand." The sentence hung in the air like venom, spreading through the room. For a second, I thought I misheard. I blinked, waiting for her to grin and reveal it was a cruel joke, but no such comfort came. Instead, she leaned back, took a sip of her wine, and looked away as if the conversation was over. Inside, my chest burned, not with jealousy, but with the sharp realization that this was no longer about intimacy or shallow preference. It was about respect, about dignity, about how she truly saw me. I could have exploded, demanded answers, but instead I stayed calm. I simply looked at her and said, "Okay." Her eyebrow lifted in surprise, as though she expected rage, tears, or pleading. But I gave her none of that. I turned and walked away, leaving her with her wine and her smirk. She mistook my calm for weakness. She couldn't see that it was resolve. That night, as she slept peacefully beside me, I lay awake, her words echoing in my head. Memories of our marriage came flooding back. The sacrifices, the loyalty, the countless times I put her first. And now, I was being ridiculed by the one person who should have been my refuge. By morning, Sophia acted as though nothing had happened. She brewed coffee, hummed, even kissed my cheek before hurrying to work. But something inside me had shifted. Her betrayal wasn't physical yet, but emotionally, it was already complete. That's when I decided, if she wanted to gamble with my worth, I'd make my move. Not with shouting or begging, but with actions sharper than her words could ever be. In the days that followed, I observed her like an outsider watching a stranger. She still moved through the house with ease, but at night, her phone glowed in her hands, screen tilted just enough to hide. She laughed at messages that weren't mine, her eyes sparking in a way I hadn't seen in years. It didn't take much to know the truth. She was preparing to test her theory with someone else. I didn't confront her. I grew deliberate. My words became fewer, my tone steady. I stopped asking about her day, stopped waiting for her when she came home late. Instead, I poured myself into what mattered. My work, my friendships, myself. She thought she was cornering me, but all along I was building walls to shield me from the storm she was brewing. One evening, she tossed her purse on the couch and announced with practiced casualness, "I'm going away with some friends this weekend. Don't wait up." The way her eyes avoided mine said it all. It wasn't friends. It was her experiment. I smiled lightly and said, "Okay, enjoy." That answer unsettled her. She searched my face, expecting jealousy, protest, some sign of desperation. But again, I gave her none. My silence wasn't indifference. It was power. That weekend, when she left in her carefully chosen dress, her perfume lingering in the air, I made my move. Not against her, but for me. I gathered financial records, deeds, and accounts I had already secured. Years of hard work and investments she'd never cared to understand, now firmly in my control. While she chased illusions, I ensured that when the storm came, I'd be standing, not broken. By Sunday night, she stumbled back, her laughter hollow, her face flushed with guilt that no perfume could mask. She chattered, asked if I missed her. I nodded politely and returned to my book. Inside, though, I knew the real game had just begun. Because while she thought she was exploring her freedom, I was already writing the chapter where she'd face the cost of underestimating me. The following weeks became a lesson in silence. Sophia grew reckless, mistaking my composure for blindness. She slipped out late, excused herself with work dinners, and lit up at the buzz of her phone. But she didn't see the change in me. I was no longer the man waiting for scraps of affection. I was patient, calculating. Every step I took was guiding her exactly where I wanted. One evening, over dinner, she finally said it. David, she murmured with a smug smile, maybe we should take a break. I need space to figure things out. Her voice was smooth, but her eyes betrayed her. Someone was already waiting for her. I set my fork down and met her gaze. If that's what you want, Sophia, I said evenly, then let's stop pretending. I slid a folder across the table. Inside were divorce papers, already signed by me, every asset secured in my name. Her face was priceless. Shock, confusion, then fury. You planned this, she whispered, her voice unsteady. No, I replied calmly. You planned it when you decided I wasn't enough. I just acted before you could destroy me. She flipped through the pages, her complexion draining as she saw the truth. The house, the savings, the business, everything locked away, untouchable. She had once mocked me for being too quiet, too patient. Now she was learning what patience really meant. Her voice cracked. So that's it? You're just going to walk away. I stood, pushing my chair back slowly. No, Sophia. You walked away the moment you told me I'd never know. I simply chose not to chase after someone who didn't value me. For the first time, the power wasn't hers. It was mine. And as I stepped out of the house that night, I didn't look back. She wanted to see if size mattered. In the end, it wasn't about size at all. It was about strength, the kind she never believed I had. And in that quiet victory, I finally claimed my freedom.